Brendan Fraser's back after 10 years. But was The Rock the reason he disappeared in the first place?
The first movie was a good movie. We had an opportunity to make it better.
The Rock replaced Brendan in the franchise he made a hit. Brendan is one of the nicest guys in the world, and he helped The Rock get his big break. But little did he know, The Rock would take advantage. The Rock was a wrestling champion determined to take over Hollywood.
I want the world. I want to do it bigger and better.
You can't get rid of me that easy.
Brendan tried to keep up, and it nearly killed him.
I almost gave my life at one point. I was on a platform with a rope around my neck. I thought, I'm gonna make this look really good. So I took a few deep breaths, and I realized I was on the balls of my feet, and the rope was going up, and then the world kind of dialed down. I came to, and the stunt coordinator goes, hey, congratulations. You've just joined the club with Mel Gibson. He got choked out on Braveheart, too.
Why would he put himself through that?
Because throughout his career, Brendan always wanted to please people.
I think I was just so game and ready to go no matter what that they figured, well, heck, he's here, he's made up, he's paid for it, we might as well have him jump off the cliff. Dude, light him on fire, too. So, I'd just be like, yep, sure, I'll do another one, no problem.
I take myself very seriously.
Brendan wanted to prove he could be like his favorite action heroes.
The films that I watched as a kid were Star Wars and Raiders of the Lost Ark. I mean, they were exciting and comic at the same time.
So when he started getting offered leading roles, he'd do anything to prove he was good enough. But all people cared about were his looks.
Our directors would say, run fast, look like a stud, and don't die.
Very handsome in The Mummy.
People aren't recognizing me with my clothes on, that's for sure.
But what set Brendan apart was how kind and down-to-earth he was.
You have an innate sense of politeness. You stand up when I come into the room.
It's a sign of respect.
I think he's a lot more gentle, and it comes across.
But that backfired because he would do whatever people asked him to. It seems like he was afraid of his career running out. He told GQ magazine, the phone does stop ringing in your career and you start asking yourself why. But little did Brendan know that this fear would come true. And even worse, the person who took his place was someone he had mentored.
Co-starring in The Mummy Returns, The Rock, ladies and gentlemen.
It's like Indiana Jones.
He's everything that an action hero should be.
The Rock came from the world of WWE and proved he could stand up against other action heroes. And Brendan made him feel welcome.
You had said that Brendan Fraser gave you your start in acting.
Acting was a long-term goal.
And coming from the world of wrestling, I was a little concerned with how I fit in, if I was even going to fit in. Brendan said, come in to my franchise.
The Rock quickly got his own spin-off from the series that Brendan had made a hit. So while the world was falling in love with The Rock, Brendan was focusing on his wife and family, but he was still throwing himself into his work.
I had been always playing every role that I had as physically as possible. It caught up with me. I had a few injuries that became another injury.
Brendan's body was failing him. Slowly, he started to take on less and less work until he disappeared and nobody knew why.
Yeah, I remember he looked completely different.
Yeah, the media was all over it. They started taking pictures of him and making fun of his appearance.
Haters have a lot to say about Brendan Fraser's appearance.
He's huge now.
Brendan went a bit too hard on the burgers.
Holy did he age badly.
And the worst part was, now that Brendan didn't have the looks of a typical action hero, it was like the people he worked so hard to please just forgot about him. But what no one knew was that Brendan needed 7 years of surgeries because of all his work injuries.
He was in and out of the hospital. He needed multiple surgeries on his spine, a partial knee replacement. He even had to have surgery on his vocal cords.
And when Brendan did his first interview in years, everyone could tell something was off.
I've relented a bit in recent years.
You know, he does seem depressed.
We discovered that just a few days prior, his mother had died. He said, I buried my mom. I was in mourning and I didn't know what that meant. But that was only the beginning of the nightmare Brendan experienced while he was away. Brendan had been sexually assaulted by the former president of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, but he never told anyone about it, saying, I became depressed. I was blaming myself and I was miserable. It made me feel reclusive. And to make things even worse, his marriage collapsed and Brendan had to watch The Rock replace him because he could still do what Brendan couldn't.
The first movie, Journey to the Center of the Earth, was a good movie. We had an opportunity to make it better.
Make it better? What does he mean?
The Rock was literally trained to become a wrestler from when he was a kid, so he could take the physical strain in a way Brendan couldn't anymore. Brendan realized that his need to please others was keeping him from seeing all he had to offer.
It was around that time that I think I just asked myself, why am I running so far so fast all at once? There's that element of insecurity, and I do not have that any longer.
I wanted to get off the merry-go-round, and I reprioritized things.
Brendan started living his life for himself and took roles that challenged his acting skills instead of his body.
I needed to start thinking about how to work smart instead of work hard. It was sort of a fundamental shift in my approach.
I have to reinvent myself.
Tom Cruise is rebooting The Mummy. Did that burn you a little bit when you saw that? You're like, come on, man, that's my part.
No, I think Tom's gonna be great.
And when he saw the impact of the Me Too movement, Brendan was inspired to speak out about his assault for the first time.
It's something that took him almost 15 years to talk about, saying a Hollywood Foreign Press Association member sexually assaulted him.
It took people far more courageous than I was who stood together, spoke their truth, and inspired me to do the same.
And when he was invited to the Golden Globes this year, held by the Hollywood Foreign Press, he said, "I will not participate because of the history that I have with them. And my mother didn't raise a hypocrite." Brendan carved a new path for himself and returned the way he wanted, and everyone fell in love with him all over again.
Brendan is making a comeback.
There are so many people out there who love you, and we're rooting for you, and we can't wait to see what you do next.
Shucks, ma'am.
And Brendan finally received recognition for his talent, not his physique.
The actor cried tears of joy as he received a 6-minute standing ovation.
Thank you. You can be pigeonholed or boxed, stretch and grow and try new things.
And The Rock finally spoke out about how Brendan helped his career.
Dwayne Johnson shared his well wishes and thanks to Brendan. Man, this makes me so happy to see this beautiful ovation for Brendan. Rooting for all your success, brother.
He welcomed me in when he didn't have to, and I never forgot it. So I'm so happy for his success now.
What has it meant to have people so excited to see you back?
I feel the love. I didn't go that far away.